Regina Lane is the ninth of 10 children raised on a dairy and potato farm in Tower Hill. She was named Regina after the Queen of Heaven and Bridget after the patron saint of her local church, St. Bridget's in Crosley, where she attended Mass every Sunday. Her parents, Mick and Loretta, played such a leading role in the restoration of the Crosley Hall in the 1980s and 90s that to Regina, St. Bridget's felt like a second home. Regina has fond memories of her teachers, Mrs. Mary Hewlin Brown and Mrs. Carlin Sproston. At school, she participated fully in the life of the college, seizing opportunities to participate in Eisteddfod's, debating, and Victoria's Youth Parliament, a YMCA program that Regina volunteered on for 6 years during university and eventually became the director of in 2003. Studying Year 12 history at Emmanuel College had a defining influence. Regina credits her teacher, Mr. Mike Toomey, with sowing a seed by lending her a copy of The Fatal Shore. It was an awakening, Regina says. As a result, she studied Aboriginal history at Melbourne University, shocked to read the first-hand accounts of the treatment of the local Aboriginal people at Framlingham. It wasn't long before she joined Students for Land Justice and Reconciliation in 2000. This was the beginning of the Decade of Reconciliation, a movement Regina has long been involved with. The Children Overboard affair of 2001 turned Regina's attention to refugee rights. In her final year of her arts degree, she joined a desert protest at the Woomera Detention Centre. It was a turning point. She was offered a job with the Brigidine Sisters and later the Catholic Commission for Justice, Peace and Development at the Melbourne Archdiocese. Here she learned the ropes of campaigning and lobbying and was speaking regularly at assemblies at Catholic schools and at Sunday Masses, based on the principles of Catholic social teaching. A trip to Uganda with Caritas prompted Regina to enrol in a Masters of International Development, which earned her a job at the Catholic Agency for Overseas Development in London in 2007. There she coordinated a mass rally for 10,000 people against global poverty on the River Thames called The World Can't Wait. From London to New York, Regina worked at the United Nations headquarters and planned her career in overseas aid and community development, but life had other plans. Returning home for a brief visit in 2009, Regina was shocked to find that St. Bridget's Church was on the market. It was a watershed moment. Regina realised that community, even in the first world, was not just a given, you had to fight for it. She decided to stay and uphold the legacy of her ancestors, indeed her own parents, by joining the campaign to keep St. Bridget's in the hands of the local community. What began as a potentially divisive, small local issue suddenly became a national news story in a battle that went all the way to Rome. This story is the subject of Regina's memoir, Saving St. Bridget's, launched by the Victorian Premier Dennis Napthine and inspiring alumni member Shane Howard. The book earned her excellent review and national attention. More recently, Regina was interviewed on Ireland's national radio broadcaster and was reviewed in the Irish press. Regina donates the proceeds from the book to help pay off the monthly mortgage on St. Bridget's and help keep it in community hands. Despite living in Melbourne, Regina is a regular at St. Bridget's vibrant cultural and community events and is actively involved in preserving the district's rich Irish heritage. Under her publishing imprint, Bryden Books, Regina published a second book on the district entitled The Church on the Hill, a history of 100 local Irish families. After St. Bridget's was saved, Regina campaigned on the issue of climate change for the national grassroots association Get Up. She then worked at the Australian Conservation Foundation towards a new economy, becoming a founding director of the Australian National Development Index, a project which aims to go beyond GDP towards a more holistic measurement of national progress. In 2014, on the back of her book, Regina became Director of Publishing at Garratt in Melbourne, a Catholic publishing company. Regina Lane, Activist, author and campaigner for social justice, we welcome you to the Emmanuel College Inspiring Alumni.